Hello there. As we come closer to Lake Argyle, this is now 2.5 weeks till we actually do the big swim. And what's been going down in the last little while as we lead up to training? Well, two things. We did a 10 kilometer swim in Lake Keeper that will tell you a little bit how we got on. And well, today we did a 12 kilometer swim at the jetty that was similar to what we have been doing, well, the other time. How about I start by talking about Lake Keepit and what happened there, which was over the weekend, which basically I've got family that live inland. And Lake Keepit, for those of you who don't know, it's between Tamworth and Gunnedah. And I had this goal of doing 10 kilometers, and I made a point from a bank to a point and making 2Ks and trying to make it happen like that. But it didn't quite pan out that way, which let's go there and I'll let the footage from that day, let it talk for itself and you can figure out how it all went. Look, it's the Friday and we are out west, actually, so near Tamworth, in a town called Manila, which is in turn near Lake Keepin. I'm going to turn these lights on. That's better. Doing this on the fly. Pretty well, first things first, I'll show you. Up there. Yep, you just saw it. We have a kayak. Obviously tomorrow we're going to be having my kayaker, that would be wife, paddling along, obviously with the supplies and all that, and doing a bit of timing as well. Basically, yeah, tomorrow will just be tomorrow. Probably try about 10, 12K. So I love normal time, just by the way, in the eastern states. I hate daylight savings. I love the sun coming up at 6 o'clock. But anyway, I'll sign off. I'll see you tomorrow at Lake Keepit for another big swim. Well, here we are, Lake Keepit. Sunny day. Wife and kayaker. We might have miscalculated a bit there. But no, basically the goal is started our car where we marked it as a landmark, aiming for a mountain at a tip of an island. That's the 2 kilometer A to B. So quite simply, just 2K, 4K, 6, 8, 10, maybe 12. Go! You know how they often say how you think something will pan out and how it actually does, two separate things. You can't really see it, but over there it actually got really, really windy, and 2 kilometers in, rolled the kayak, didn't I? Obviously unintentional.
Canoe. It was a 3-person canoe.
That was used for a 1-person, but anyway. We've done the maths. That lap, basically designated swimming area, so it's probably 300 meters. We had a look on the old Google Maps. Probably try and do 20 laps, maybe 25. But the problem is that I've swum 2, but I kayaked for 8 because I had to get Emily back. Everything's fine. Let you know how it goes. Anyway, so you just saw what happened there. It was interesting because what happened is when we did the first paddle across, I had my wife Emily. She was in the canoe, and just that wind just all of a sudden picked up, and then it just flew the canoe over. And I was trying to pace by and see what it was like to follow, but then I was just like, I don't think we should probably do this. But anyway, sometimes you've got to make mistakes to learn. But anyway, though, this led us to finding an area that you did see in the video, but I think it was a little bit more than 300 because I was doing 10-minute laps. So what I actually did was I said, okay, let's just do 2 hours swimming, just around those points that you would have seen in the footage from Lake Keepit. and sort of felt I could hold well. I think my goal was just run with it, and then when you're sort of at the end, so at that time it was like 20 minutes to go, hit it and just up your tempo, which I felt I could do relatively well. But having to learn a lot about logistics and all that from the weekend was kind of an interesting proposition, but we got there in the end. However, we now move on to what I did today, which was the 12-kilometer swim. If you remember that 18K swim I did, I actually had my 600-meter lap all set up and just sort of going around. I did, well, pretty well the same thing, except I only did 20 laps, not 30, making it 12K. So let's go there now. And you'll actually see footage of the jetty, and I can sort of show you there and then what the lap's like, and come back here and finish up. So as we are here on 2.5 weeks to go to Lake Argyle, 12 kilometers, which I'll show you how we're going to do it. Can't see it in the distance, but over there I've placed a buoy. That's a crab trap with no bait in it, just a marker, but you can't see it, it's just a little styrofoam. Then that green buoy there, swim 15 strokes, aim for the jetty, where you then go 4 posts, swim under, and here we are. Obviously got wife helping us out. Cheers to Emily. Do this. Well, that lap, and feeling all in all like really like pumped to go, and felt like I could hold my pace and fitness really well, and actually getting into a really good routine with eating, sleeping, eating during the race, and hydrating. But I guess it's sort of really hard though. It's like if anyone's ever done university study or HSCing, you know when you get that feeling and you're really trying hard on an exam, you've studied, you've studied, you've studied, you've studied, you just want to sit through that exam and get it done. Guess what? This is the feeling right here. And pretty well it is a bit eye-opening to say that, look, you know, it as I say, it is 2.5 weeks to go before we go, and even thinking my last swimming session in a pool locally is going to be on the 24th of April, which is, you know, the day before Anzac Day, which is a week and a half away. And then the next week it'll be traveling and all that. But I guess really this is sort of the last bigger, longer sets we'll do. Obviously, I'm still going to do aerobic stuff and distance stuff in the pool. But in terms of sort of the long swim that I've been sharing, this is going to be the last one before I will do my long swim at Lake Argyle. And been a lot of learning, but that's it. And we'll keep you posted. For those who've stayed on, pleased you have. Hopefully you're learning something. Hopefully you're intrigued. But for now, I'll just sign off by saying 2.5 weeks. Bring it on. Thanks for watching.